The limited liability company, as we know today, was formed in the 1850s, but the identity of a company has changed completely. From being a forensic tool in which entrepreneurs could place their businesses and ring-fence risk, the company has become integral to society. Some of the great multinational companies have gross revenues greater than governments. So the decisions which the boards of those companies make, which operate in sometimes over 200 countries, impact hugely on society and the environment. In this sense, the identity of a company having changed, it also plays a much important role from a governance point of view. The basic principles of governance are applicable universally, namely the duties of directors of good faith, care, skill and diligence. And this is because of the incapacity of the juristic person, the company. The company, when formed, becomes a person, but is absolutely incapacitated. And if you were looking after an incapacitated human being, you would do it in that person's best interests with care, with skill and diligence. Exactly the same principles apply to a company. You have to apply your mind honestly, applying these principles in the best interests of the company, but take account of the legitimate interests and expectations of all the stakeholders linked to the company. Every country, in my judgment, should develop its own code of governance, and I congratulate you on this. The reason is that every country has its very own special circumstances, and one cannot just copy the governance of one country for another. For example, the combined code of the United Kingdom suits that very developed economy. It would not, strictly speaking, be suitable for Malawi. Well, what are the governance trends which should be incorporated in the Malawian corporate governance? The international trend is that governance, strategy and sustainability have become inseparable. The reason for this is the planet is in crisis. We have reached what is known as ecological overshoot. We have used the natural assets of the planet faster than nature can replenish them. We've got climate change. We have the financial crisis. For all these reasons, we cannot carry on business as usual, and we've got to learn to make more with less. In consequence, directors owe a duty to the company and the company to the community in which it operates to take account of the sustainability issues relevant to the business of the company. For example, if you were a beverage manufacturing company, you'd have to incorporate into your long-term strategic thinking the scarcity of water. So the governance trend is that governance, how we direct and steer the company and manage it, the strategy and the sustainability issues have become inseparable. And we need to think of these things when strategizing for the company. The other thing is that internal audit has changed completely. Internal audit has become highly skilled. It is a professional job, and it has to be risk-based, and the internal audit plan must dovetail with the external audit plan. The internal auditor needs to make a written assessment to the board of the adequacy and effectiveness of the controls of a company and the financial controls to the audit committee and the audit committee to the board. This enables the board to sign that statement that the controls are adequate and effective in a context of some knowledge. The other issue which has received wide publicity is the remuneration of senior executives. The international governance trend there is that the board should develop a policy of remuneration, having been fed with information from the remuneration committee, which acts as an advisory body, puts it to shareholders in a non-binding vote so that the board gets a feel of whether the shareholders accept the policy of remuneration or not. The other issue is the question of disputes. In the nature of things, director boards are going to have disputes, and companies are going to have disputes with customers and suppliers. Litigation has become expensive, and of course it takes a long time. Adequate dispute resolution clauses therefore should be contained not only in human resource contracts, but in customer and supplier contracts. In King 3, we have developed a clause which is perfectly lawful, fits in with the House of Lords decision and other jurisdictions, and that clause should be inserted into your contracts so that you can discharge your duty of care to a company that when a dispute does arise, you will be able to resolve that dispute effectively and efficiently. The other issue which has become extremely important now is IT governance and IT security. In King 3 we've devoted a whole chapter to this. The day of IT being just an enabler to work more efficiently is past. It is absolutely pervasive. It's right in the very fabric of a company's business. And of course the information system has to be aligned to the strategy in order for the strategy to be implemented and the company to be successful. So in conclusion, let me just say this, that you need to take some of these international trends into account in developing your code. And my apologies for not being present, but I hope this short little talk will assist you, and I wish you good fortune in your conference. Thank you very much.